So welcome to the DrTodd Show. I'm Clint Willett. I'm the guest host for this segment. Thanks so much for asking me, Dr. Todd, to be a guest host and to interview you today. It's really exciting to learn about your experiences with cold laser over the last 8 years and as the team doc for the Springfield Foxes for the last 3 years. And so we met at a chiropractic conference, and I work with infrared technology, and you asked me to ask you about your experiences yourself with the Biomat and the infrared technology yourself. So I'd love to hear about that.
Okay, well, thank you for asking. In case you're wondering, what's this on my chair? This is a Biomat Mini, which I bought from Clint, and this is the controller for the Biomat Mini. So I'm giving an interview and getting a Biomat treatment at the same time. But my personal experience with the Biomat is I met Clint back in June of 2013. I had some issue that I needed to have surgery for in July of 13. It was an issue that it had nothing to do with musculoskeletal, so chiropractic couldn't fix it. And cold laser therapy could keep it feeling better, but it wasn't going to fix it either. So I was just looking at weighing my options. What can I do to recover from this surgery as quick as possible to get back into what I want to be doing, which is begin here treating my patients at Austin Family Chiropractic.
Right.
So my surgeon pretty much said, you're probably going to be out about 2.5 weeks. And so what I decided to do is I figured out a protocol to use with my cold laser therapy, pre and post-surgical. I talked to my standard process rep, Dr. Carl Schippel.
If you can reference, for most people who do know or don't know what standard process is, it works with nutrition and detoxing and that.
Yeah, exactly. Standard process is a whole food nutrition company.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the lines of nutrition that we carry at Austin Family Chiropractic.
Sure.
So I talked to my standard process rep, and he said, you need to take these 4 supplements to aid in your recovery.
Okay.
So I took those. I did laser treatments, cold laser treatments, twice a day, 10 minutes, before and after. And then the other thing I did is I got the Biomat, and you had it pretty much rush shipped to me about 8 days before my surgery, so I got a good week head start on that. And for 5 days post-surgery, I was pretty much just like living in the recliner, and I had the Biomat wrapped around me pretty much 24/7. So I was getting lots of Biomat treatments for those few days. I took 6 days off from the clinic. My wife decided I could go back on the 7th day, and I just did a half day. So instead of seeing like the full scheduled patients, I only saw half of that. And I took like a 2-hour lunch, and I even got a nap in there on the Biomat. And then,
so what do you feel whenever you have been using cold laser for 8 years, and it's a toolbox? As
Exactly.
we both have that terminology. We like to reference the toolbox approach. We're a fan of whatever works. If it's not the things that we're using for someone else, we want everybody to have their own toolbox. And so whether it's this or not, we want everyone to find what works for them.
Exactly.
And so for your toolbox, you have
definitely a part of my toolbox.
The combo. And how do you feel like in terms of the recovery for you? How did you feel like the Biomat? Because you've been using cold laser for 8 years.
Yeah.
What did you feel it added to your toolbox?
Well, I can't say definitively what was the laser, what was the Biomat, what was the nutrition, but I just know, like you said, the more stuff I can incorporate into my toolbox, it's going to get me healthier and get me back. And so, to end the previous thing, I took 6 days off, came back a half day, then had the day off the next day, and then went back to full duty on the 8th day. So, I didn't skip a beat, didn't re-injure myself.
Wonderful.
And when I went back to the MD a couple weeks later, he's like, you're good to go.
Great.
So it definitely was a part of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, how far I would have gotten without it, but sure. I just want to optimize the chance that I can heal quicker.
Super. And so I remember as we've been having all kinds of different conversations over time, you then started integrating it into your own practice. So you had a personal experience with it, and you saw it being a real benefit.
Oh yeah.
And so, how's that been as far as integrating into your practice? Like specific examples, if you have some.
Sure. I have a patient who he actually had been to Mayo Clinic and everything, and found out he needed 2 hip replacements. As he explains it, his hips were like a square that's trying to fit in a round
hole plug. Yeah.
Instead of a ball in the hole, it's like fitting a square peg in a round hole.
Right.
So he was told he needed bilateral hip replacements. The left was worse. And so he was awaiting the hip replacement. So we were lasering him to calm it down. As you may know, if you've seen my other videos, I'm a fan of the at-home lasers, and
yes.
he has a $700 at-home laser that he uses on a daily basis to keep it calmed down.
That's great.
I use the stronger lasers when he's in the office, and so I had gotten the Biomat. I said, man, let's put you on the Biomat, and so I gave him a treatment and really cranked up the heat on it. He was sweating when he got done and everything, and he's like, he was ambulating a lot better.
He was more mobility,
more mobile,
more
felt better.
movement, and whether.
And so we did a few. I think we only had time to do a few treatments before his surgery was scheduled.
Okay.
He continued to do cold laser afterwards. He continued. I think he had one more biomet treatment afterwards in the office, but his recovery was awesome.
Awesome, wonderful.
So his
you
recovery was awesome.
You noticed a significant difference with the surgery and after the recovery and the mobility, and that was a tribute there.
Exactly. And I've also had a few patients that were like in an episode of really acute low back pain.
Okay.
And so I have used the Biomat on them. So what I'll do, we'll get done with the treatment, and then
Your treatment being your chiropractic adjustment
and cold
laser therapy together, and then after you have a post, it's like that.
Yeah, afterwards I'll put the Biomat on them, or put them on the Biomat, as the case may be, whether they're face up or face down.
For about 15, or you mentioned
15, 20, 30 minutes, somewhere in there. And if I'm treating someone with activator, which is a very low force technique, I'll actually lay the Biomat underneath the person while they're getting their activator adjustment and while they're getting their cold laser therapy.
Oh, right.
Kind of doing it
all together at the same time to maximize the treatment.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
So that's what I'll do with that. But I also had a young man, teenager, who had gotten poison oak from a rafting trip over the previous weekend, all over his arm, and so we used Biomat on that.
What did you notice as a result of the Biomat?
It quit itching a lot quicker.
Right.
Quit itching. We had also used cold laser on it.
Sure.
But it quit itching a lot quicker between the Biomat and the cold laser therapy. And it recovered a lot quicker.
Wonderful. If I may add to that, just because you're such an expert in cold laser for so many years, and with together tandem with we share a lot of information. It's exciting that the infrared, there actually is a scientific explanation for why. We won't go into it now because it would take a little bit more time. Just of why the itching stops, or why. Say even the sunlight, the invisible sunlight goes inside the body or on the skin surface, and it works. So you witnessed that firsthand.
Oh yeah.
Without necessarily.
Yeah, and I've had people. Well, the first thing I ever used cold laser therapy on when I got my cold lasers was I had poison ivy on my right forearm.
Okay.
And after 9 minutes of laser treatments, it quit itching. After 5 days, it just driving me nuts.
Interesting.
But that was before I knew about the Biomat.
Sure.
But
they work together.
Now that I know about the Biomat, I know that it helps too.
Yep.
And whether it's cold laser therapy or Biomat,
yep.
It's all about normalizing the function of the cells and tissues, speeding up the healing process,
quality,
and just basically giving the body the best optimal healing environment to recover in.
Exactly.
That's really how it all works. So
it's exciting to see these different modalities, and we're all working together as a team to find what modalities are best for each individual.
Exactly.
And it's exciting to see recovery happen quicker, and people who, like your examples, yourself before or after the surgery, or with the patient who has acute pain or chronic pain. So it's really exciting.
Oh yeah, definitely exciting stuff. And so we're probably just scratching the surface of all this healthcare technology.
Yes.
I know lasers have advanced quite a bit just in the 8.5 years that I've been using them, and the 9 years that I've been studying them.
Same with infrared as well. So it's just keep on researching these things and applying them with our patients and our team, and continue to document. We want to keep documenting, and so we can get those more of the word spread.
True, because our goal is to get as many people as possible, feeling their age or less than their age, not feeling 20 years past what your age is, and to get people doing these things without having to resort to a bunch of drugs and surgeries if they're not needed. Sometimes drugs are necessary, sometimes surgeries are necessary, but a lot of times they're not necessary.
Right.
And so let's look at more alternative treatment options for those people. So.
Certainly. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, great. So listen, thanks for having me as the guest host today, Dr. Todd. It was really a pleasure. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Have a great day.